IMSA fans, we had something really awesome happen this morning in Indianapolis. IMSA President John Doonan, the Action Express racing team, and the fine folks there welcomed about 25 students from Butler University in their EDDP program, Engineering Dual Degree program, getting to look inside this amazing AXR Cadillac V-Series.R hybrid GTP car. This is who we're looking to the future for. This is who we're looking to carry the sport forward. The young talent, engineering minds, going to be in this paddock in the future, we hope. Some of these dreams start for the first time getting to see a car like this up close. So take a look at what happened here, some of the discussion that happened, some of the insights brought, and just know that IMSA is really doing its part to try to encourage young and new talent, new stars, big bright minds to be here, populate this paddock, make more victories, more success happen.
On behalf of IMSA, welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Welcome to the Tire Rack Battle of the Bricks. As I mentioned earlier, our intent is to give you an overview of what IMSA is, but specifically our top category cars. I mentioned also that these cars are homologated, meaning every component has been put forth as the component, measurements, etc. So what you're seeing today is championship winning Cadillac GTP car. Championship winning because of the people behind the scenes that make it happen. Chris Mitchum is team manager for Whelan Engineering Cadillac GTP. So Chris?
Yeah, this is our car here. If we could drop that. So obviously we've got the Porsche Cup race going on behind us. We'll shut the door and get a little bit extra there. Our GTP car here that's in front of you, this is the first year this category has had hybrid. So we do have a hybrid onboard system along with the V8. Now I've got a steering wheel here outside of the car. The back side of the wheel is important because that's how the drivers shift, right? So on the right hand side, this is upshift and down and on both buttons. Downshift here. On the bottom, I'm not at liberty to tell you, right? We refer to that as our X-ray paddle. Realize that because the car is hybrid technology, what's changed is how much we can do with the rear end of the car now. Because the regeneration for that electric system happens off the rear wheels. Well, that means now you have control of that. So the driver may have some functions that can help him on track with the car that were never available to us before that technology. On the front side of the wheel, you have a lot of controls that the driver will be able to do, from being able to take a drink of water, to answering the radio calls, to being able to migrate the brake settings front to rear. So lots of stuff going on. That center screen can do about as much as your cell phone can do, right? For the low price of just under $30,000, you too can have a complicated steering wheel. How many people are familiar with shift lights? Do you know what that means, right? The lights come up, the driver knows when to pull that upshift paddle. Well, those lights can also do different things. Those lights could come on at maybe the optimum point on the track where you should lift to save energy and not lose speed. Again, a lot of new technology and learning that all the teams are maximizing because how advanced the cars are now. From this point, I want to answer your questions. So start firing away. Who has a question? Anybody? So the question is, why do we go naturally aspirated versus turbocharged? Well, remember, balance of performance series, right? So they recognize that things change within temperature and engine power can vary based on that. So the series controls that. But we have about 5 championships with a naturally aspirated V8 engine. So that was the power plant that GM decided to bring forward with Cadillac to come here. We've got a lot of faith and trust in that. Plus, the packaging between the cars is very different when you look at a turbocharged engine. When you think about it, a lot of new technology in the hybrid side, so whatever you could bring in as your most proven piece to mate with that made the most sense. If you look at the results on track, every manufacturer's had a win this year. So competition-wise, the series has done their job to make sure turbo and V8 can compete. We like having that power on demand under the foot all the time. The hardest thing for us to adapt to, in all honesty, I have to give credit to Cadillac because they brought in all the engineering that we didn't have as a team. That's been the hardest thing to get used to. Realize this steering wheel lights up with a ton of colors, but the driver will just be told Romeo 6 or Bravo 2. So it's simplification. The hardest thing was figuring out how to get all the laptop information in the car, but make sure the car didn't stop running.
To add to that, I think the newest piece of this whole program for any of the GTP cars this year was the hybrid system and integration of that and understanding that and what that meant to optimizing the car's performance. So some hybrids are like a push to pass where you get so much power for so long. In this case, it's constant. When you hear the cars leave the pit lane, they're on electric power, and then halfway down pit lane, they fire up. This one most dramatically. But I think the hybrid system for sure was the newest and most difficult perhaps, at least when the season started. I think this point in the season, they're in the championship hunt. They've got to figure it out.
I noticed you have a Dallara logo on here. What's it like working with another manufacturer outside your team?
So we have experience because we've been a Cadillac team since 17, partnered with Dallara, but Dallara essentially built the tub and worked with Cadillac to design the car, right? So Dallara is a manufacturer of that piece, what we call the spine. What's really unique in our series, the spine, which is basically the tub and the main suspension components and pieces, are actually common between that manufacturer. So Dallara builds the Cadillac base, they build the BMW base, they build the Ferrari base over in the WEC.
Moved away from using like brake pads on the rear. How has that?
Oh no, it's all still the same setup. So you've got carbon brakes, you've got this, but what you have is a compliance chamber in the front. So when you don't use all the full hydraulic power, it has to be stored somewhere because that driver's foot has got to feel the brakes the same way they always have. So that compliance chamber makes up for it. So when we're regenning, the pedal pressure on the brakes is less, but it's controlled through this chamber that takes all that pressure and fluid. When we're not regenning and they need all that braking power, the chamber releases it and you get all that braking power. So the system is not on each four corners. Our hybrid only shoots out through the rear wheels.
Make sure you follow along with us on IMSA's official YouTube channel and follow IMSA Racing on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X. We're going to be doing some pretty cool stuff with some pretty cool people with some pretty cool race cars. Visit IMSA.com to hear the action called live and download the official IMSA app to follow the timing and scoring information as the sessions take place.